And next tonight on World News, we want to take you overseas into the giant arena where 100 of the most powerful leaders on the globe were gathering in the pouring rain, with thousands of people celebrating the singular life of Nelson Mandela. We have team coverage tonight, ABC's Byron Pitts, and we begin with ABC's chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran in Pretoria. Terry.
Diane, what a day it was here. A day of stirring songs and drenching rains, as you mentioned. A day of soaring tributes and simple gratitude. They made history in Johannesburg today.
Long live the spirit of Nelson Mandela, long live.
All those world leaders, 91 of them, the largest gathering ever for a memorial service like this, paying tribute to one of their own, the great statesman Nelson Mandela.
We will never see the likes of Nelson Mandela again.
But he really belonged to them. Ordinary South Africans, his people, and they poured into FNB Stadium by the thousands, ignoring the cold, soaking rain that never stopped, to say farewell to their leader, the man they call Madiba, his clan name, their liberator. They seized the moment, singing and cheering, and at times taking over the formal ceremony.
Please tone down your singing.
Across the country, in huts and homes and businesses, South Africa stopped to watch and listen. President Obama, who received a raucous welcome from the crowd, spoke about Mandela's closeness to his people.
His struggle was your struggle. His triumph was your triumph.
4 U.S. presidents attended this grand memorial service. That's never happened before overseas, and they seem to get into the festive spirit of the event. President Obama joining the British and Danish prime ministers in an impromptu selfie, while President Bush posed with Bono of U2. But this may be the most historic and controversial picture: President Obama shaking hands with Cuban leader Raul Castro. Then, moments later, a sharp jab from the president at repressive rulers like Castro.
There are too many leaders who claim solidarity with Madiba's struggle for freedom, but do not tolerate dissent from their own people.
This was a family's day, too. The entire Mandela family here in mourning and celebration. On it went, and no one seemed to want to leave, to let go.
We just have 3 more speakers.
Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a friend of Mandela and fellow Nobel Prize winner, tried to bring it all to a close.
I am not going to give you a blessing until all of you stand. Paramani!
They did, mostly, and then they carried with them into the dank day the brightness of this celebration, the gift he gave them: freedom. The body of Nelson Mandela is going to lie in state for 3 days just over there in the government buildings. But today, their mourning turned into dancing, as the Bible says, and that unforgettable feeling inside the stadium can only be described as an outpouring of love. And that is quite a legacy for any man to leave. My colleague Byron Pitts was with those amazing crowds all day.
They came by foot, by train, many arriving well before sunrise. This woman arrived 6 hours early.
I can't feel this rain. It's an emotion that I've never felt in my life before. It's so nice. It's good to be here.
The rain nor my question stopped her from dancing.
Yes, we are happy because he made this South Africa to be a rainbow nation. As you can see, black people and white people are sitting together.
All day here, people have been undaunted by the weather. The harder it rained, the harder they cheered. There's a belief in African culture that if it's raining on the day of a person's funeral, it's a sign they lived a blessed life. Amid the singing and celebrating, people made clear to us Nelson Mandela wasn't perfect, and major problems still exist. But when Mandela became president in 1994, anything became possible.
Amen.
Long live to the spirit of Mandela. Long live.
One man told us Mandela spent 27 years in prison. A little rain won't stop us from celebrating his life. And Diane, he added, celebrating loudly.